I am entitled to the home that my husband and I built together, and that this woman is the greedy one.
I know Dr. Polo will see her for who she is and know that she completely betrayed my father.
She took advantage of my late husband's condition and manipulated him and made me out to be a gold digger.
After everything that she's done to my father, I want to make sure she doesn't get one more penny.
Okay, let's get right to it. Donna, you are suing your stepchild, Barbara. I assume she's your stepchild.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. And you are claiming 50% equity in an $800,000 house that was left by your deceased husband.
Correct.
Explain the facts to me and the basis of your claim.
Well, I have a will, a last will and testament, that states that I am the sole beneficiary of the estate. However, at my late husband's funeral, they started claiming that they had the right to said estate.
Who are they?
The children.
How many children?
There are 4.
There are 4 children.
Correct.
From a prior marriage.
Yes, ma'am.
Let's clarify a couple of things. You're the second wife?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so he had a first marriage, and he had 4 children out of that marriage.
Correct.
And then he married you.
Yes.
For how long were you married?
We were together for 9 years and married for 7.5.
Okay,
and
so
this home is the home that we had together, that we built together, and every single inch of that home was just about us.
Okay, let me see that will. That's good. He does mention his children in this will, but he clearly states in paragraph number 5 that the whole estate goes to you.
Yes.
Was he going through a terrible situation with his family, with his prior family, at the time he prepared this will?
Yes, ma'am.
What was happening?
They cut him out completely. Cut him out because he was with me.
Are you telling me that you were the reason why he separated from his first wife?
He was not happy. I'm not the reason that he left her.
Explain the situation.
Well, we met 9 years ago.
He was still married at the
Yes.
time you met.
From what I understand, yes. But when I met him, I didn't know. He didn't wear a ring, nothing.
Okay.
We were at a party, and I was a friend of his colleagues, and I was there at the party, and we just started talking and hitting it off. And he's so charming and, smart and witty, and, we just started speaking, and then we started hanging out. I'm a stylist, so, I styled his friend, and then we became friends, and I started styling his wardrobe for him. He just got a promotion. I wanted to make sure that he was in the finest clothes, and things just developed from there.
At what time did you learn that he was married?
About 6 months, and he told me that he was getting divorced, and that, that he was leaving his
He was
wife.
leaving his wife. How long?
Yeah.
You know how long he'd been married?
35 years.
A lot of years.
Yeah.
All right. So he tells you at that point, like 6 months into your friendship, I'm getting a divorce after a 35-year marriage, 4 children, and he finally got divorced.
Yeah.
Was it a nasty divorce?
Yeah.
It was nasty.
Yeah. He wasn't happy.
It was litigated.
Yeah.
It was fought out.
Yes.
Okay. You eventually get married. And you bought this house during that marriage?
He purchased it once they were getting divorced so that we can move in together.
Okay,
and
so
live
he bought
together.
it prior to your marriage to him.
Yes.
All right. Nevertheless, you get married. And then at some point in the year 2011, he makes this will.
Yes.
Why did he make this will? Do you know that?
Yes.
Why?
Robert became very ill.
What happened to him?
He had Crohn's disease.
Okay.
Yeah. Since the children had cut him out completely and did not speak to him anymore, he thought that it would be right that because he had this terminal illness, that I was the sole executor of this home. So just in case something happened to him, because they told him of everything that could happen, through time. And he was ill in the hospital for 4 months. And I was there by his side.
Did his family come to visit, his
No.
children?
No, they weren't speaking to us. He told me that not to bother them. They had their own lives, that they had already cut him off. He didn't want them involved.
All right. Was there any time during his illness that he became disoriented, incompetent?
No,
Was he conscious at all time up
Yes.
to the time of his death?
absolutely.
When did he die after this will?
He
Do you have his death
died
certificate?
6 years later. No, I don't. I couldn't get his death certificate.
Why?
They kicked me out of their funeral, and I could not, they wouldn't let me in the building.
But you're his wife.
I know.
You had every right.
I know.
Well, I mean, legally, you had every right to procure, receive his death certificate. When did he die?
May 26th.
Okay, so he dies May 26, 2017. To your knowledge, between 2011 and 2017, was he sound of mind? Was he conscious, clear-minded, good judgment?
He was very ill in the last 6 months of his life. Barely able to walk. Unfortunately, I was not there most of the time because I was traveling because of business.
While he
So
was sick.
he moved in with them to take care of him, and I had to continue working.
Did you have a problem with him at that time?
No,
During the last 6 months of his life?
no, not at all. No, it was his wishes to make me continue my
Life.
dream, my life. I was, I'm so young. I'm 35 years old.
How many years older than you was he?
He's much older. He was 77 at the time of his death.
Okay. All right. I'm starting to think I know what's happening here. Let's take a break. When we come back, we'll hear more about it.
You think this is a healthy relationship?
No. We're not talking about healthy relationships here. We are talking about money and bank accounts and access and marriage. I mean, your father married this
he
woman.
basically ended up with nothing.
Second marriages are very difficult, and they can present very serious problems when it comes to our estate.
Excuse me, Dr. Polo? May I show you some paperwork, just to show you that she definitely didn't have a problem with him? Because this is the money that she withdrew from his account and all the money that she maxed out on his credit cards without him knowing. So she definitely never had a problem with him because her entire lifestyle completely changed when they met.
But he was aware that she had absolute access to his accounts.
Yes.
No, he knew that
Yes,
she had access.
of course he knew. But
Right?
look what's going
Well,
on
I
here.
can tell that there are a number of big withdrawals here, no doubt about it. But I mean, if you give somebody access to your account, I mean, you're giving them full access. That means take the money you need or take the money you want out of here. Don't you think it means that?
Yes. You think this is a healthy relationship?
No. We're not talking about healthy relationships here. We are talking about money and bank accounts and access and marriage. I mean, your father married this woman.
He basically ended up with nothing. Do you realize that she basically emptied his accounts and needed to pay for medicine and needed to pay hospital bills,
And he had
she was spending his money on hair and nails when he was dying. This is what was happening.
But wait a minute. He could have picked up the phone, call his bank, and say, hey, listen, get her out of my account. I want no more access. If you're the owner of a bank account, you have every right to call the bank and take out whomever you had added before so they don't have access to your accounts.
And I'm here.
So what you're arguing here, to me, it's irrelevant. In other words, whether she took all the money out or not, that was your father's choice. If he was competent, he could have acted. Now, you know what I want to know? How was your relationship with your father?
It was great.
So what she's telling me is a lie?
We discontinued speaking to him because once he got a promotion about 9 years ago and he met her, he turned into a completely different person.
Okay.
So all of a sudden his values were changing. All he was thinking about was money. And we kind of came to an agreement that it didn't make any sense for us to speak anymore because our mother was cheated on. And we just didn't understand what was going on.
So instead of trying
I have
to,
difficulty with that
Yeah.
kind of concept in life. Because I'll tell you this, marriage is really, it's a contract between adults. A contract that is based upon love and material decisions. This is why people get married. First of all, because they love each other. Secondly, because they've agreed to share material things in one way or another. And I think that when children stop talking to their parents because one of them hurts the other spouse, it's an immature decision. You should keep a relation with your father because he was a good father, or you love him, or you don't love him. But to stop talking to him because he fell in love with another woman.
It wasn't my personal choice to discontinue speaking to my father. It was my mother's choice, and I felt out of respect that was the best thing to do.
So your mother asked you guys to stop talking to your dad, and you all agreed.
Yes.
Oh my God, what a world we live in.
as adults,
This family situation seems very complicated. Let's take a break. When we come back, we'll hear more about it.
My father did not leave her the home. My father rewrote the will because he woke up and realized what mattered. Blood! Nothing matters more than blood.
Do you know what this means?
this is the first time I've heard of this document, other than whatever claims they made
Well,
during
let me
the
tell you
funeral.
why this is the first time you heard of this document. Apparently, for the last 6 months of your husband's life, you disappeared. This woman claims that she has a will prepared in the year 2011. Let's get to the point. Let's get to the issue of this case.
I'd love to.
All right. She claims that she has a will that seems to be legitimate, genuine, signed in the year 2011, making her the sole beneficiary of your father's estate. Why are you asking for 50% of the will instead of the whole amount? I don't get it.
Well, at the funeral, they were claiming that they had drafted something up and that they're going to take me to court and that they were going to put me through the ringer and that I wasn't going to have another dime left and that everything that, I made while I was with him, any piece of art or anything that was in that home, they were going to strip it away from me.
Well, how could they do that? They don't even have access to that house.
We
Isn't
don't
that
want
your
any
house?
of that.
Wasn't that your house?
Yes.
Didn't you have a key to the house?
Yes. But they were claiming that it belonged to them.
But
Because
claims are claims.
I know.
They're not reality.
How
People
did
can
the
claim
home-
anything.
So because she lived in the home, it's her home as well? She
Your
didn't purchase
father
the home.
left her the home.
My father did not leave her the home. My father rewrote the will because he woke up and realized what mattered. Blood! Nothing matters more than blood. Obviously.
Let's look at this. So apparently in the year 2017, April 21st, 1 month before his death, correct?
Yes.
Your father now prepares a second will where he says, all the rest residue and remainder of my estate, both real and personal, of whatsoever kind, give a device bequeathed to my 4 children to be theirs absolutely and forever. My house is to be divided amongst my 4 children and my spouse, Donna. Do you know what this means?
no.
Well, it means that the house is now to be divided into 5 equal parts.
But I was his sole executive
What would
of
be
the
the
will.
problem with that?
I
really?
wasn't even present for
You
this.
were what?
I was not present for this document. This is the first time I've heard of
Do you understand that
this.
you don't need to be present for a will to be prepared?
Knowing him.
I mean, even when
really.
you're married, your spouse can go ahead and prepare a will, disinherit you. Now, your only argument against this would be to say that he was incompetent when he prepared this, and that he was forced to do this.
I think he was.
No, but you have no evidence. I'm
but he
proposing
was
the
not
argument.
incompetent. He was
You didn't
ill.
propose it to me.
But he was ill.
Crohn's
But
disease
wait a
has to do
minute.
with your intestines. It
Yeah,
doesn't
it has
have
nothing to do with your
mind.
brains. And again, have you brought any experts to tell me that this is not his signature? That you have a psychiatric report or a doctor's report saying that he was incompetent,
No, ma'am.
unable to
there was no
think?
reason for me to. This is the first time I've heard of this document, other than whatever claims they made
Well,
during
let me
the
tell you
funeral.
why this is the first time you heard of this document. Apparently, for the last 6 months of your husband's life, you disappeared. This case is definitely a competition between two wills. When we come back, the ruling. Don't go away.
Every single inch of that house has memories of my life with him, the 9 years that we spent together. And she's gonna take everything that's inside as well. That is unfair.
This case is definitely about a will competition. It seems to me, I don't like to speak of the dead, but why not? They leave wills behind, so we might as well speculate. You know, this was a very reactive man. Your father was a reactive guy. You know, when he fell in love or whomever was being nice to him at the time, he would prepare documents in their favors. And then when they would do something bad to him, he would change those documents again. And what evidence do I have? This is it. I have the evidence right in my hand. First, he prepares you a will, leaving you everything and excluding his children from
Leaving me
everything.
The home.
And now you leave him the last 6 months of his life. And what does he do? A month prior to his death, he prepares a will. Again, leaving something for his kids. And hey, by the way, he didn't hate you that much. He included you.
If he included you after everything you did, after all the money that was taken out,
That's why I'm here. I'm here to claim that I should at least get half of what the home is worth.
But
Please,
who
half.
says half? Why half? Where did you get that number?
it's
Clear. He said it here. He says, I am leaving my house, and only the house, by the way. The residue of the estate goes to you guys. In other words,
which
the
I have.
contents of the house, whatever bank accounts he had left, any life insurance if he had any.
The contents of the house too.
Well, that's what he says in
Every
this
single
will.
thing that he and I went and we would go to galleries together.
Do you have possession of this house?
Yes.
Well, you should have cleared out that house before coming here today, girl. You gotta act in life. You don't act? Act.
Because this is my home where I lay my head down to rest.
Yeah, but he
when
laid
I
it
come
out
back.
for you.
Are you kidding
Where
me?
were you when you were purchasing the house? When you were making
Okay.
Where
this
was
home?
I? Where was I making this home?
Waiting
I was
for
with
him to
we
put
were
it up
making
for
these
you.
decisions
All the
together.
rest of my estate, both real and personal, of whatsoever kind, of character, and wherever situated, I give, devise, and bequeath to my 4 children to be theirs absolutely and forever. My house is to be divided amongst my 4 children, Steve, McLaurin, Jamie, Barbara, Laura, and my spouse, Donna Davis.
What is the problem? What is the
Do you
problem?
The
understand what that
problem is that
means?
every single inch of that house has memories of my life with him, the 9 years that we spent together. And she's gonna take everything that's inside as well. That is unfair.
That's not, I didn't write it. My father believes in everything being equal. Everybody getting even amounts. you
Even
know?
amounts?
Yeah.
You're
my
taking
father-
everything from
Listen,
inside.
Listen. My father,
Please, let me tell you this. You have no evidence to present to me. I'm looking at both these signatures. They look similar to me.
They had to manipulate
This one looks
him
a little
to do that.
frail, but then again, it was a month prior to his death.
That means he was he
why
was
would
ill.
Why would have we
Listen to
manipulated
me.
our father when he
Illness
was dying?
has nothing to
You
do with
weren't around.
competency.
For
Okay.
years.
This house is going to be put in the market. He states in here that it's valued at $800,000. I don't know that it is. We can appoint 3 appraisers, get 3 appraisals of the house, and do an average, figure out what it's worth, sell it.
Your Honor, I at least.
When we get the net proceeds, it'll be divided in 5 equal parts. 1 part for each of your brothers and sisters, whatever, and another part for her.
That
How
barely,
can you not
I can't-
believe in
I
that?
cannot.
And
I
you're all
cannot
done.
believe in that. That's so human. That is so human. That is my father.
There's nothing
But
else
that
to this
is my
case,
father.
people. I am so sorry. I have one advice. Please get your affairs in order, especially if you have a second marriage, if you have children from another marriage, from a prior marriage. Do it in time. Be clear about it. Do it when you have a clear mind, a sound mind. Be careful enough to state that if you have pieces of art, you make a list which you can attach to your will and leave it to whomever you really want in life. But don't leave things up in the air, because once you're dead, your family's going to be fighting all over the place. And that's such a nasty feeling. I mean, that's what you leave behind. That's the memory you're going to leave, okay? So that's what we're going to do. We're selling the house and divide it in 5 equal parts. And that is how I rule.